I think CJ has done a great job. It's always tough to go into that situation as, a high pick and perform the way he has, and so that's been impressive. I think, Dak has done a really great job with that group. He's been fun to watch.
Quarterback gets discussed or over-discussed more than Dak Prescott, who I think going into this weekend is one of the most intriguing quarterbacks on the board. If they do well, it's because Dak did what?
If the Cowboys play well in the playoffs, it's because Dak is doing the same things he's done all season. He has been calm and just collected in the moment. You're right. Dak Prescott takes a lot of heat, right? It comes his way. I think that comes with playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, right? I think he wants that, right? He wants that platform. He handles it so well. He handles the positives. He handles the negatives. I think Dak just stays pretty even keel, which is the best quality of a quarterback in the NFL, especially playing someplace like Dallas. I think Eli had that great quality playing in New York in that market, right? It just serves you well. Don't go through this roller coaster. But look, he's played extremely well. He and CeeDee Lamb seem to have kind of a special thing going. I think for the two of them to keep that connection going, hitting some of those explosive plays, those plays that just shorten those drives, Kevin, where you don't have to go 15 plays, right? If we can have a couple of runs and then hit a 50-yarder to CD, that sort of shortens those drives. This takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback. I'm pulling for Dak. He's had a heck of a year. He's in that MVP running, deservingly so, and I'm hoping he has a good run here in this postseason.
It's just interesting to me that we can have players like Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and even one of his active peers like Joe Burrow come out in support of Dak Prescott and talk about how he's playing the game at such a high level. And in Peyton Manning's case, he's even rooting for the guy because he sees how the media-driven agendas are essentially robbing him of his just dues. Peyton Manning is the latest in a line of high-level quarterbacks coming out in defense of Dak Prescott, or even just coming out and saying, hey, I'm a fan of this guy because of the way he's playing the game. Peyton Manning also said that he wants to see Dak Prescott win a Super Bowl. So not only was he giving him his praise from an actual analytics and X's and O's type of standpoint, but even on a personal level, Peyton Manning is rooting for Dak Prescott. Why? Because Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, and all these other guys see how the media covers him. Now, he kind of alluded to this a little bit, talking about maybe it's because he's a Cowboys player and this, that, and the other. But these guys see this. These dudes that play the game, the players that actually played the game at a high level and didn't spend their whole career warming the bench or throwing ill-fated interceptions to literally nobody, Dan Orlovsky. You know what? This probably explains why you love Josh Allen so much. Bro tried to do his best J.A. impression right here. Pitiful. The players who really played the game at a high level. All of these guys have nothing but positive things to say about Dak Prescott. All of these guys are able to acknowledge how he's playing at a higher level than pretty much anyone else in the National Football League. That was Peyton Manning's word. And I'm just going to say this. I trust the word of a quarterback like a Peyton Manning or an Aaron Rodgers way more than I trust the word of a Dan Orlovsky or an Emmanuel Outcho or even a Cam Putin. Any of these dudes, their word comes nowhere near close to the credibility of someone like a Peyton Manning or Aaron Rodgers. These dudes are two players that are probably top 5, top 6 quarterbacks all time in their position, and they're able to appreciate what Dak Prescott is doing and has been doing, in particular this season. Yet we have a situation where we have media-driven agendas placing Josh Allen, the guy that threw almost 20 interceptions and turned the ball over more than 20 times. We have Josh Allen coming in at second team All-Pro per Pro Football Focus, which is one of the bigger analytics sites concerning the National Football League. This has gotten absolutely ridiculous. And the most interesting thing about Pro Football Focus's grades is the fact that they've had Dak Prescott ranked as the number 1 or 2 quarterback all season long as it pertains to their grades. Yet they're going to put him not even on the first or second team when you graded him as one of the highest rated quarterbacks in the entire league. You graded him as the top 2 quarterback. Yeah, you left him off an all-pro team. See, I got attacked on X by one of the Pro Football Focus guys for questioning the legitimacy of some of their statistics and analytics because they tried to convince us that Tony Pollard was running like a top 5 running back for the last few weeks of the season in the National Football League. And my only response to that was, holy crap, where the hell did you get those statistics? Because anybody looking at the empirical data and watching the games can see he's been struggling. And then even he came out and said it's been a very average year for him. So Pro Football Focus is starting to lose some of that credibility. The fact that we had to sit here and listen to all of the different platforms and all of the different media members discuss how Dak Prescott couldn't be elite because he had 15 interceptions last season, in the season in which he broke his freaking thumb. We had to listen to everybody talk about almost for a full year now how the turnovers would prevent them from looking at Dak Prescott in a brighter light. Yet a guy that's literally led the league in turnovers since he came in 2018, Josh Allen, and led the league in turnovers this year, and his team had to play not to lose because of him in many situations when that's never been the case for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. The Cowboys have never had to literally actively play against Dak Prescott in a game to keep him from losing them the game, from making boneheaded mistakes the way the Bills do with Josh Allen. This dude barely scraped into the playoffs. Team was struggling for most of the year. He's been struggling for most of the year. Even the last 5 or 6 games or so, in one of those, he didn't even throw for 100 yards, and he's been turning the ball over in pretty much every one of those games. Yet somehow he's second team All-Pro over Dak Prescott. See, this is starting to get to a disgusting place because I mentioned this on my X. I'm not asking for anyone to call Dak Prescott the best quarterback ever. I'm not sitting here demanding that he's looked at as a top 2 or 3 quarterback. But what I am saying is, damn, as the media, can y'all let this man start to build his freaking legacy? Y'all know what they call quarterbacks who only have a Super Bowl to show for them. For those of y'all that are going to be out there like, oh, it's okay if he doesn't win MVP. It's okay if he doesn't get all pro. They don't have to give him any awards. As long as he win that Super Bowl, he'll be fine. Y'all know what they call those quarterbacks? They call those quarterbacks Trent Dilfer, Nick Foles, Joe Flacco, or as I like to call them, ghosts of football past. Because before Joe Flacco came back, nobody discussed any of these dudes in any type of high regard in the pantheon of football or quarterback legends in the National Football League, even though they had a Super Bowl. They had a Super Bowl victory. But Dak Prescott has performed, and he's played like an elite quarterback. He's played like a guy who should be getting talked about even after his career is over. But let those of you out there that keep saying, oh, it doesn't matter, just win a Super Bowl, call it. He'll leave this game with a couple of Pro Bowl appearances and 1 Super Bowl and look like he had a very slightly above average career and got lucky and won a Super Bowl, just like everyone else looks at these other guys. Versus him being named MVP or him being named to an All-Pro team and him actually getting his just dues just from the media. Just give him what he's earning, guys. Him actually getting these things from the media 100% counts in legitimizing his resume as a top-tier elite quarterback, which is what Dak Prescott has been displaying to us all season long. And the funny thing to me is they were so willing and so ready to give Jalen Hurts an all-pro nod last season, whereas if we actually take a look at the numbers, there's no way you can leave Dak Prescott off the all-pro team after you gave a nod to Jalen Hurts. Now, what's funny to me is the fact that if we take a look at Jalen Hurts' all-pro season that he had last year, Dak Prescott is better than him in pretty much all of the relevant categories. The only thing these dudes are getting credit for over Dak Prescott is they're getting credit for being a running back, including Josh Allen. They're getting credit for being running backs to a higher degree than they're being quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts' quarterback numbers last year were very average. They were kind of pedestrian. He threw for 3,700 yards, had 6 interceptions and 22 passing touchdowns. okay. His passer rating was 101.5. He didn't have a 1,000-yard rushing season or do anything super crazy rushing the ball. And even if you add all of his touchdowns together, he only had 35 total touchdowns last season. Dak Prescott this year has more passing touchdowns than Jalen Hurts had total touchdowns last season in his all-pro year. Dak Prescott also has almost 1,000 more passing yards than Jalen Hurts had in his all-pro year. And his passer rating is 4 points higher than Jalen Hurts' was last year in his all-pro season. Yet, we're looking at a possibility of Dak Prescott not only being left out of the MVP, but also being left off of an all-pro team? Are you kidding me right now? He's not even being allowed to properly build his own legacy because of media-driven biases and agendas. And at this point, it's just getting kind of sad. I just want people to let this dude get the things that he's earning. Don't give him any more than he deserves, but definitely don't give him less than he deserves just for the sake of some twisted, convoluted Cowboys hate that these media members have. The thing that shocks me is Dak Prescott has never said anything crazy to any of these people. I don't think really any of the Cowboys outside of Micah this year have really even attacked the media or gone after the media or done anything to these folks to the point to where they would have this huge of an axe to grind to where now they're robbing Cowboys players out of accolades that they 100% have earned. Yet we can see people like Peyton Manning, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers talk about how this guy is playing the position better than anyone else right now. Yet the media doesn't see it that way. At some point, I believe the voters for these teams, the voters for all of these awards and accolades, we have to take that away from the media at some point and start giving it to more players like Peyton Manning or the Aaron Rodgers, or players that actually understood and played the game at a high level, not just a Dan Orlovsky or a Bart Scott or Emmanuel Outcho. None of these dudes were really those dudes. Why do they have votes on things that are going to determine how people look at these players after their career is over? That's my point. Yes, it would be great for Dak Prescott to win a Super Bowl, but it would be a travesty if he has a Super Bowl on his resume and that'd be the only other thing, because he has 100% displayed qualities of an elite quarterback. And if he plays like the level he's playing at this year and the level he played at in 2021 for the remainder of his career, he's going to be in the conversation for one of the best quarterbacks by the numbers, especially if the media gives him his due and gives him awards that he's outperforming his predecessors for. But either way, let me go ahead and get off my soapbox. At this point, I have never wanted Dak Prescott to win a Super Bowl more than I want him to win now, because this is all just gotten ridiculous. Either way, y'all know what's in this video is how them Cowboys. Take it away, Pastor.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy. Hey! I'm still them boys.